Okay, welcome back to my channel. So I'm just gonna watch the rest of the Caitibugzz latest video. So her video entitled Final Thoughts.
Any expression I did, anything I did, it was on display for other people. He took the power away from me in that situation. And once again, the consent aspect. I understand if you think I'm full of shit. I understand if you don't believe me at all. I understand if those two things you think I'm full of shit about, who cares about the age? Who cares about, the power imbalance in the situation? The consent is always fucking there. He admitted, I never gave verbal consent. Again, the only question he asked is, are you ticklish? I said fucking no. Like, there was no consent given. It doesn't matter if you're laughing. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter where you are. That is not an invitation. And for everyone saying, well, you could have gave nonverbal consent, I will tell you right now, if I was given the opportunity to give even nonverbal consent, my answer would have always been no. I'm asexual.
Asexual. You know, I don't know. Maybe she mentions her asexuality on her streams, but this is the first time I've heard about it. I feel like she would have brought this up on her first video, but she's bringing it up now.
I don't like sexual stuff. Given the option of doing something sexual, my answer is going to be no. I'm on the spectrum of asexual.
On the spectrum of asexual. Don't know what that means. It sounds like some makeup.
Which I don't know if it's because of my bad experiences, but...
Did she just say bad experiences? So you've had,
where you are, that is not an invitation. And for everyone saying, well, you could have gave nonverbal consent, I will tell you right now, if I was given the opportunity to give even nonverbal consent, extremely uncomfortable. So let's say under the circumstances, I'm drunk and I could have gave nonverbal consent, non-verbally. It is coming
really?
from someone who was a viewer. How dangerous. Any expression I did, anything I did, the consent is always fucking there.
Okay, I missed out where we were.
He admitted.
She said she's asexual. And she's had bad experiences. That's why she's asexual.
I never
right?
gave verbal consent. Again, the only question he asked is, "Are you ticklish?" I said, "Fucking no." Like there was no consent.
I just thought she said she's never. When she means experience, she must mean. I don't know what she means by other bad experiences. Does she had some? I thought she was. She said she was like a virgin, and she's 18. So what these experiences? What are they? Are they maybe they're just bad experiences of strangers hitting on her or something? But if she had bad experience,
it doesn't matter if you're laughing. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter where you are. That is not an invitation. And for everyone saying, well, you could have gave nonverbal consent, I will tell you right now, if I was given the opportunity to give even nonverbal consent, my answer would have always been no.
So her answer would always been no. Dude, you couldn't even talk. You couldn't even talk at the party. I feel like even if he asked you for consent, I don't know what you would say. You probably wouldn't have said anything.
Asexual? I don't like sexual stuff. Given the option of doing something sexual, my answer is going to be no. I'm on the spectrum of asexual, which I don't know if it's because of my bad experiences, but anything sexual makes me extremely uncomfortable. So
extremely uncomfortable. I don't know. I feel like that cuddle could have been sexual in its own way, but she wasn't. I don't know if she was uncomfortable with the cuddle. Because she never mentioned the cuddle in her first video.
Let's say, under the circumstances, I'm drunk and I could have gave nonverbal consent. I would have still said no. Non-verbally. However the fuck I could have done that.
You couldn't even say no to him while it was happening? I don't know.
And again, I'm fucking drunk. Oh, you were laughing. Oh, you were doing... I'm fucking drunk with my friends. How did I... The reason I brought up this entire situation and what I was hoping to bring light to This wasn't about fucking. This wasn't.
The whole asexual thing, I feel like she just make that up, no? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe she mentions this all the time in her streams, but I feel like she just make it up for part of the story. This just rings, it just doesn't fit nice and easy into a story.
It wasn't about him. This wasn't about him. I was trying to bring light to blind idolization. How dangerous it is. Coming from.
No, now she's... In this part of the video, she says her first video was about blind isolation. It wasn't about some kind of accusation or whatnot. No, it wasn't. You were making an accusation and you were trying to punish that dude. You were trying to punish George Not Found. It wasn't just about some kind of thing. Now she's trying to spin it into something. Oh, it was about teaching people not to follow people blindly. No, it wasn't about that.
From someone who was a viewer, how dangerous it is to blindly idolize these people that you don't know. And I always tell my viewers that, to not idolize me to the point of defending me till, like, you die. You know, it's unhealthy. People aren't gonna be, not everyone is who they seem, and it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's important to swallow it. You know what I mean?
This whole bit's just about her reaction that she's had from her video, like people, negative reaction, and she's seen that George, a lot of people are defending George and things, her story wasn't easily believed. I think this is why she's saying that this is about blind idolization. It's not really about, no, it's, that's why she's mentioning it now.
And especially in these kind of situations where you idolize someone to the point of where something bad comes out about them and you just dig for excuses for them. Just so many excuses instead of just accepting it. You know, that's where it gets dangerous. That's where it's dangerous for everyone involved. It's again, I know how hard something like this can be to accept. It's like, you know, if your best friend, you know your best friend so much, and someone comes to you and says they did something to them. You don't want to believe it because you know your best friend and you don't think they could ever do that. I mean, look at them. Because you know them so well, except you don't fucking know these people.
Look straight in the camera.
You don't know these people. They aren't your best friend. These are people that create content.
Dude, you're not my best friend. I could say the same thing about you. Now she's gonna say yes. You can believe me because you don't believe George because there's a power difference, right? He's a bigger creator. Is it?
To millions of people, they aren't your best friend. Like you don't know who they could be. And again, and that's why I think it's so important. It leaves you in a situation where you're like, well, how can I trust anyone? How can I? It's so important to see the people that do know. These content creators that have spent time with these people, these content creators that do know these people, have had private conversations with these people, speaking out against them. It's so blatantly obvious. These people that have seen them behind the scenes, that have hung out with them, you know, that have distanced themselves since then, or that have spoken out against them.
Don't know what she's
I was just hoping.
I don't know what she meant by that. I wasn't following it. I don't know.
This situation could open people's eyes. And again, how scary and how it's just building more and more this devotion to these people. But I was just hoping to open some people's eyes, I guess. And it's definitely a problem bigger than me. This is just about the behind the scenes of this community, you know, and all the people that have fallen victim to it. I mean, there's so much shit that goes down, and I'm just one of the ones that have came out about my story. And
didn't she say it before? She don't want drama. Now she's vaguely saying, implying that she knows about things that have happened.
I don't want to sit here and keep having to prove myself. I can't sit here and have to watch his responses and see his face, and
every time you make a video he has to respond to it. It's not well, you thought you was going to be believed no matter what.
Watch him describe it. I can't. I can't keep doing this, and I'm accepting the fact that maybe, you know, Nobody believes me. I'm accepting the fact.
No, I believe you, but it's just, I think it was just signals, right? You kind of gave him the signals, and then you never said anything about, no, I don't want this. You just went along with it, and
I'm accepting it. But also, I feel like, especially in this situation, there's nothing I could say that could change some people's minds. I think, again, because of this idolization, this is how it's dangerous.
it's not about idolization. Someone like me, someone like maybe somebody else, we've watched all your videos, we've read all your tweets, we read George's videos, we've seen his everything. We just think your story is a bit. I think your first story, you should have really edited it properly and, not done a live stream, probably really thought it out and not been so vague about what actually happened. Maybe that would have been a good thing. It's like you don't take responsibility yourself about how you said your allegation. It's like it's my fault now because I blind idolization. No, it's just we've seen everything of yours, and we just think your story is a bit funny.
How no matter what I say, no matter what proof I come out about, people that don't want to believe will never believe. They will
Is one of your proofs your text message that you got wrong?
never believe, no
And you keep lying about being freshly 18.
matter what comes out. It's because they don't want to. They will continue to find excuses to not face reality. As for any forgiving or anything, I feel like it's very obvious. I was never in a position to forgive anyone.
Obviously, he's not going to forgive, huh?
I didn't go into this wanting to forgive anyone. And
Because there's videos about blind idolization. It was never about forgiving anybody.
again, that is my choice. But especially how I've seen the things play out. The way I've been treated. Especially since his responses.
Don't blame him for your responses. Your first video was not very good.
I would never forgive. I wouldn't.
I have to blame him again for him making a video. Yeah, he's going to reply to your video after you make an accusation like that against him.
I've been belittled, blamed, invalidated, been called a liar, been called Amber Heard, been called any name, even though he sat there and admitted to it. Again, it's not false allegations when I came out about my sexual assault story and he admitted to it. The amount of victim blaming, though, has been insane. And in these situations, it's a very real issue that happens. To this day, it happens all the time when someone comes out about something. The people saying I shouldn't have been illegally drinking. Well, that's what you get for being, illegally drinking. If I was in the UK, where I am most of the time, drinking legally at 18 and this situation still happened, what then? Because I know the people saying it's my fault because I was illegally drinking would just find another reason to blame me. Even if I was legally drinking, they would find another reason to blame me. It's not about the drinking. It's not about the fact I laughed. It's about the fact that you just want to find a reason to blame me for the situation that happened to me.
Sure.
People saying that I shouldn't have been laughing, I was drunk. Oh my God, I was drunk. Like, your mindset during that it doesn't change what you want and don't want. And again, like, it's people saying I probably liked it and now I just regret it. I didn't. I'm telling you, I didn't. I don't know how loud I have to shout it. And again, I'm asexual. I would have never liked it and then regretted it. I would have never liked
Well, so why didn't you tell him to stop?
it to begin with. I'm trying to tell you this. It's always a she shouldn't have done that. She should have done this. She shouldn't have been wearing that. She shouldn't have done this. Rather than a simple, he shouldn't have done what he did. It's never just a simple, he should have controlled himself. It's always, her fault in these situations and never his for not controlling himself. I don't get it. And I would also like to point out, it's not a her and he situation. because men get assaulted too. Okay, roles are that's assault. Men get assaulted too. It can happen to anyone, and that's very real. And that's a conversation that really should be had, but not in this situation. It's not my fault for smiling. It's not my fault for being there. It's just not. I acknowledge that I was naive. I acknowledge. But I'm not gonna apologize for being naive and not realizing, you know.
Didn't you have bad experiences in the past? That's one thing you said, so it seems like you did have some experience of how situations like this could go. This is weird.
The way the world is sometimes, you know? I would also like to acknowledge, this is another thing that I am gonna acknowledge and take accountability for. My goal for coming out about this all, I've strayed very far away from my goal. My goal when I came out about this was for it not to be about drama, for it not to be about canceling. And I know
she made the tweet after her first video and she went really hard on George, so I don't know what she's talking about. Oh yeah, she did say she strayed, so maybe that's what she's talking about.
You hear that now, and you're probably thinking you're the biggest hypocrite in the world, and I acknowledge that. I have strayed. Anytime I replied to him on Twitter, anytime I made a response on Twitter, anytime I was like, look at these screenshots, look, it opened the floor for it to be viewed as drama and as, you know, me trying to ruin his life. I made those tweets out of, I felt like I was backed into a corner. I made those tweets out of anger. Seeing him say he would have never, like, crossed someone's boundaries, I was really upset. And I acknowledged by doing that stuff, I strayed away from my goal of why I did this all. But it is true that that was my goal in the beginning. For everyone that watched my first stream and didn't stop. That happened. People watched my stream, heard me tell my story, how scared I was, heard my story, but stopped after the story was done to go in their notes app, to write down every single detail about the guy that did it, to go to Twitter, to then form these bands and figure out who did it and who to attack. It wasn't fucking about him. It wasn't about...
Obviously, you didn't mention his name in the video, but they're going to figure it all out. It's easy to figure out. I think probably after 2 seconds somebody watched it, they're going to probably think it's not George, not found, or Dream. About
him. And if you would have listened past my story and listened to any of the things I talked about after, it's about victims. It's barely even about me. It's me telling
just changing what happened in the first video now.
My story about assault. It's about assault, and it's about the things that go on behind the scenes. And it became this thing about him, about canceling him, about drama. It turned into this thing to spread hate.
I mean, how did you not think that would happen? No.
And to spread, you know, people just fighting and picking sides, and then people commenting on it. You know, the commentary, like it's a fucking sports match, and it's not real fucking life. I can't turn it off. I can't. You can argue about it on Twitter. You can watch videos about it. You can talk about it on a podcast. You can make a video covering it. But then you can move on to the next hit topic. You can move on to the next trending thing. You can turn off your phone and it doesn't exist anymore. I can't turn off my life. I can't turn off my memories. I can't turn it off. It's something that happened to me. You know, anytime someone asks, what's the furthest you've gone? That's my story. That's what I'm reminded of it. And I can't turn that off. It's a real thing. It's real people. The purpose of me trying to come out about this, I was trying to bring, you know, I finally felt safe to tell my story. And for all the people in these situations that pressure other creators to make commentaries on it, that at other creators being like, say something, fuck you. What are you doing? Why are you begging at these other creators?
Okay, I think she's realized it blew up too much, right? And there was too much pressure on her. and now she's trying to backpedal a little bit and change the emphasis of her first video, because it's just been too much hate on her. Yeah, she got a lot of hate, so she's just trying to move away from it. Yeah, final thoughts. Hopefully this is gonna be her last video, so she won't get more hate.
Just to say something, to make comments, just so you have more things to consume.
Because I just think things didn't turn out the way she wanted from her first video.
This situation, these are real people. You don't know what they're going through behind the scenes. You don't know how they're processing it. I mean, imagine something like that happening to you, and then you're getting grilled to. It's not about any of them. It's not about them. It's not about him. It's about, especially the creators that I never knew, I wasn't aware about, had stories that have reached out to me. You never know what someone's going through. Adding someone in these kind of sensitive situations, telling them to speak on it, you don't know what they've went through. You don't know if they've went through things with these people too. You don't know. It's disgusting to get these people, you know. And again, I do say acknowledge the people coming out about this, speaking against it, and I am grateful for all the people that have. A lot of them are my friends, and a lot of them, you know, are creators that I look up to that have reached out to me, making sure I'm okay. But also, I will make aware that this also does open, you know, the platform and open the ability for people to, you know, that aren't good to speak on it and be like, yeah, I support you, just, you know. So it is hard to fully trust everyone, but anyway. I brought it up.
We're talking about people like me commenting on her video.
Brought all this up. It became into this thing of picking sides and dramatizing it, making it into drama, instead of focusing on the bigger issue, instead of focusing on the things that happen in the content world, instead of focusing on the issues of blind idolization, you know? But people only cared about finding something else to argue about instead of just focusing on the main idea.
I don't know if she mentioned blind idolization in her first video. I don't remember that at all.
And the biggest thing that I want to mention, and one of the last things,
Could be wrong.
People saying, why did you come publicly about this? Why didn't you keep it private? Why did you? Because I saw what Shelby did for me. I saw the effect Shelby had on me. Seeing another content creator, someone I looked up to, speaking out about something that happened, realizing that someone I looked up to went through the same thing as me. You don't understand what that does. You don't understand how that feels. I wanted to be that for other people. Me staying silent about my situation, who is that helping? I understand, oh, it's just bringing up, because if you view it as drama, it is like, oh, why are you bringing this drama forward? But it isn't, it's sexual assault. It is me, and my viewers know, one of the biggest things I've focused on in my content is being open for the purpose of connecting. Because realizing someone that you watch goes through the same things that you do, it is so healing, and it is so eye-opening. And again, I will always, if I could do this all over, I would do it all again, because the amount of viewers of mine and viewers that aren't of mine that have reached out to me saying they understand and that they feel safe now to accept what's happened to them. Not even safe to come out about their stories, because you don't have to come out about your story. You don't have to yell it off the rooftops to heal from it, you know. But again, it is a big help. It creates this open discussion of these hard things to talk about. That's why I came out about my story. Not to, and again, I know it sounds hypocritical, and I'm acknowledging that, and I did things I probably shouldn't have with making it this drama kind of thing on Twitter by replying and being, you know, but yeah, again, I came out with my story. It's fine if you don't believe me. And it's also really fine if you don't understand me. You don't understand why I did. You don't understand why I couldn't have stood up in the moment and ran out of the room. It's fine if you don't understand, because the story isn't for you. It's for people victims who understand my thought process. My first stream wasn't, this is all the bad stuff that this person did, go kill them. It was me describing my experience with assault that happened to me, and then acknowledging it. You know, actually realizing, shit, this is something that happened to me, and I can't ignore it, and accepting it. It was about my journey as a victim. And I fully understand not many people to understand that kind of journey. And even if you are a victim and don't understand me, you know, you don't have to have the same situation to still be a victim, so I understand that as well. My story was meant for people who chose to believe me, not because, you know, of proof, or because I have video of it, or because of any of that, but because they've experienced it themselves, and they recognize it. They recognize what I've went through, and they recognize that I'm sincere about it. I feel like the whole situation, the way it played out, has been very unfair. But what's most unfair is what he did to me in the first place.
So it's just been unfair on her.
There's that. I'm tired of the constant fight of trying to validate what I went through, to validate and prove that I was uncomfortable. I'm tired with it all, honestly. But again, I would still do it all over again because I don't want people to view that as me like bowing out and, you know, because I bit more than I can chew. I'm still here, but I'm just not gonna apologize what I've went through. I know there may be more after this.
More what?
You know, people trying to get the final word or like people
okay.
responding to what I've said. But this is my final thought on it all. If there's anything said after this, where there's responses or anything, I won't be there to see it.
From her words, these are the final thoughts. You will not be responding to anything.
I won't. As for, you know, the future and stuff, I'm in a really weird place. You know, content, when I was going through stuff in my real life, I would use content as kind of an escape. You know, it was a place to feel safe, and even if my life was shit off the screen, I could come on here and be with you guys. But now, obviously, I'm just in a very weird place. So I'm not promising anything, not promising that I'm gonna come back, not promising that I'm leaving forever. It's just a thing about time and taking time. And I hope you guys can understand that. It does suck. There are things that I've been working on for like a year that I don't want to just scrap, but also it's just... And I think a lot of people need time right now. Not even just me or him or like anyone. I think it's just...
He needs time.
Yeah. I, again, can't promise anything for the future, but I'll promise that, you know, I'll do whatever I love moving forward. And I wish you guys the best. I don't want to, you know, you guys to view this as me abandoning you or whatever, but I just don't want to promise anything. I will never forget how kind a lot of you have been, and the way that my community has treated me since I was 16. Truly, I'm really lucky. I really, really am. A lot of people tell me I'm, you know, brave for coming out about all this. I feel the exact opposite. I'm only strong because of you guys and the people supporting me behind the scenes. I guess that's it. I can sit here and ask for this not to be clipped out of context and ask for people to just refer people here, but I know that that's not going to happen. I have no control over
Got the full video on my channel if you need to see
it, so I've said all I can. And again, thank you all. That's all, I guess. Goodbye. Stay safe.
Take it easy.
And yeah.
Okay. So let me know what you think of the video. Was I too harsh on Caitibugzz? Let me know what you think of Caitibugzz reply, final thoughts video. Yeah. So like this video, support this video with using links in the description. Subscribe to the video. Thank you very much. Take care. Love you. Bye.